Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today we're going to be taking a look at a brand new prototype, not even into production yet, but a very unique one here coming out of Indiana Knives. And what this is here is the Indiana Knives EDC. EDZ, that is, not EDC, EDZ. Now, before I go any further into this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, please do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you the content. Now, let's take a look at some overall specs on this very interesting button lock here. We have an overall length of 7.6 inches with a blade length coming in at 2.95 inches, a blade thickness at a rather thin 112 thousandths, and a blade width just over 1 inch at 1.09 inches. Blade material, this is where it gets really good, Vanex. Yes, Vanex steel. It's been a while. It kind of came out on some quiet carries, and then it kind of just went away for the most part, but it is a very premium steel that is very exciting to see on this knife here. We have a sheep's foot style blade with a full flat grind, a handle length coming in at 4.51 inches, and a handle thickness at 490 thousandths. Handle material on this is titanium, and of course we have a button lock. Now this is utilizing the Trek lock, which is owned by Vosteed Knives, designed by Dr. EDC. A very nice, solid, and secure button lock lockup. Arguably, in my opinion, it probably is the most secure button lock on the market so far. There's really only two, just the standard where the plunge comes behind the blade, and then this one here where the button plunge goes all the way through the entire bottom of the blade with a little more surface contact to lock the blade in place. So a little bit of extra added security there, and a user of a right or left hand tip up carry. That's really cool considering what this knife is. We'll talk more about that when we get to the handle, but I really like that feature on this. And a weight coming in at 4.15 ounces, which for a knife of this size and this materials isn't bad. It really doesn't feel like 4.15 ounces. Just feels very, very average. Price, little expensive, $310, but for that, you're getting Vanex. You are getting a Best Tech produced knife. Yes, this is going to be run by Best Tech, which I think a lot of people would argue right now in the market, as it goes right now, Best Tech is probably making the best production knives, arguably in the world. I would probably put them ahead of Riot right now. Riot's been making a few mistakes here and there. Best Tech, it seems like more and more designers are going to Best Tech for their manufacturing needs because they're just really on top of it lately, and they're very, very competitive in the pricing category as well as the fit and finish and options. A lot of good stuff coming out of Best Tech. And let's take a look at some size comparisons here. The one knife, I actually don't have a lot of Best Tech manufactured knives, but one knife that Best Tech does manufacture that I just recently picked up and am absolutely in love with is this guy right here. This is the Winter Blade Co. Factor. I'm sure a lot of people don't have this, so it's not a real good size comparison, but it's a good knife to put out here just to kind of show you what Best Tech's capable of. They really are making some of the best knives in the world over there in Best Tech. Now let's put some knives out here that you might be a little more familiar with. Let's bring the Civivi Conspirator to the table, and let's see what else do we got here. Let's get a Kaiser. What Kaiser do I want to bring out here? Let's go with this one. It's been a while. The Kaiser T1. And as you can see, it really lines up well with both of these knives. Really better with the T1. It's slightly longer by just an absolute hair. Pretty much the same length as the T1. Slightly shorter the Conspirator, as you can see. I don't know why I really explained that to you guys. I mean, you do have eyeballs. I'm assuming you're all watching this and not listening, so maybe I should just drop with explaining the obvious here. Let's bring out a couple more. Here we got the Vosteed Raccoon, and let's find one more premium knife to go with. Here we go. Here's one that I think will measure up pretty well. The Spyderco Smock. I think that will, a little longer is the Smock, but I think that gives everybody what we need to know in terms of overall sizing and just what we got here. It's actually really in the middle of both of these knives. I had to explain the obvious just one more time. But now let's stop looking at other knives and let's look closer at just this knife. Because this is an interesting one. You know, when I first saw the pictures of this, I really wasn't too sure what to make of it. And then when I actually got it, as a matter of fact, Eric reached out to me, which is really cool. For those of you that don't know, this knife, the EDZ, is actually named after the owner of Indiana Knives, Eric Ziliak. I don't know what his middle name is, but I know it starts with a D. He couldn't think of what's named this knife, so he just went with his initials, EDZ, which is actually kind of cool. It's kind of a play on EDC, so that's actually kind of fun. But what this knife gives you from a blade standpoint is really impressive. It's a very slicey, very EDC friendly blade with that full flat grind. The sheep's foot blade always works well. And we're looking at a blade thickness right behind the edge of 15 to 16 thousandths. So very slicey indeed. That Van X is going to have excellent extreme corrosion resistance, and it's going to hold a very good edge for you as well. And the rest of it is just really beauty in terms of how well the handle works with the handle, or how well the blade works with the handle. There we go. I would sure like to think the handle works with the handle, considering that's the same thing. But the jimping up here is very nice. The jimping leads up, and it's a slightly softer jimping in terms of aggression. It's not like super aggressive, but you do still get that little bit of bite. Some people may want a little more, but it's still pretty good. You definitely feel it, and I would definitely consider it functional. And you have this blade. I really like this blade or the blade cutout, because it's different. It's not an oval. It's not a perfect circle. It's not like the giant mouse kind of like wonky oval. It's really kind of like, it almost looks like the outline of a glasses lens or something. It's really unique, and it works pretty well with the overall design of the knife. And most importantly, makes middle finger flicking a breeze, an absolute breeze. You can do your thumb. I will say one other very unique feature with this knife is it's not confirmed yet, so don't quote me on this, but it sounds like Eric is trying to have a second spring set, kind of like how Kaiser does with the drop bear. They have a second Omega spring or Omega style spring that ships with the drop bear. This is going to have hopefully a different spring to ship with this knife that'll be a different strength. Because right now, the way this action is, well, we'll cover that when we get to the action. I gotta stay in the Wayne Sharp World order, but there is going to be hopefully another spring shipping with this that will give you a little more of an option to adjust the strength, the detent strength as you wish. And we will touch a little more about that in just a second. But when you get down from the blade and get into the handle, this is a handle that really is very nice in the hand. And it's also one of the parts of the knife that kind of threw me off, because I wasn't sure what I thought about it from an aesthetic standpoint. At first, I thought it was a little, like, unrefined. I thought it could use a little more refinement, a little more something. But the more I carried this, and I've carried this for quite a while now. I've had this for a couple weeks. I've carried it for probably 5 days, I believe. And it really has worn on me. And a lot of it has to do with just how easy it is to use and how enjoyable it is. And when you get it in hand, and the way the front of this handle works, you have your choil up here, but it doesn't matter where you put your finger here. It's so smooth, it's so round. If you have thicker fingers or skinny fingers, I think it's gonna feel good in just about everybody's hands. The little curve up here is really nice for your middle finger, and then you can put your index wherever, or you can choke back, and this still gives you a good full 4-finger grip, even all the way back here. And it's really quite nice. You can also even choke up, kind of get a little pinch area and do a little more precise work or draw cuts, whatnot. But it really is pretty easy to move around in the hand, and there's a lot of comfortable spots because there's just not a lot to rub you the wrong way with this. Nice contoured titanium, contoured and chamfered, so it feels very nice in hand. Love the fact that a knife this expensive, that's usually one of the things that you can always just forget about and write off with a knife of this price, is the fact that it's just going to be right hand only, and lefties, sorry, you're out of luck. Not only did he make it right and left hand friendly, he made it look really good doing it. I mean, obviously you can see the insert there, but it's an insert, and look at how good and smooth that is. It is about as good as it can get. So while you do see the insert down there, it really doesn't look nearly as bad. It feels great, and the clip side looks great. The clip is nice and simple. Excellent, excellent clip for this knife. A nice flat mill titanium clip. Gives you a lot of extra grip for whipping that blade out, and whether you are front flipping, reach arounding, middle finger flicking, slow rolling, or just thumb flicking, which is, like I said, the thumb flick is kind of the most difficult part of this knife. I wouldn't thumb flick it a lot because everything else is so comfortable and so good. But it really is a pretty incredible offering. I really am a fan of this. And if you like button locks and like a premium button lock and you want that Trek lock, then you don't want a budget knife. You want a more premium knife with the Trek lock. This really is a pretty darn good option. Let me know what you guys think of this. Like I said, I do believe it's going to be shipping. Hopefully, Eric is trying to hammer it out to make sure that another spring ships with this. So the spring that ships with it right now is good. I'm very much on the fence with this because the detent is not really soft. This detent makes the front flipping action feel, and I really mean this, it really makes it feel kind of like a custom. Because if you've ever handled a custom front flipper, like a Gareth Bull Mura or a Gareth Bull Chamois especially, you'll notice it doesn't have a strong detent. It just rolls out like effortlessly. And that is what this feels like. Now, I'm not comparing it to a Gareth Bull Mura or a Gareth Bull Chamois. What I'm simply saying is it has that very unique, smooth detent that not only does it hold the blade in pretty stinking well, it also gives you just effortless, smooth, buttery front flipping action. So that's very nice, and it's something you see on very few knives. So I don't know if I would want a stronger spring on this detent. I really don't. It looks good, it feels good, and it just performs as is. But it would be nice to have that option. So we'll see. If you guys want to find out more about this knife, be sure to click on the link below to go check out Indiana Knives. Follow him for updates. And of course, give him a follow on Instagram. Eric is a really good guy. He's involved very well in the knife community. And he has a very nice small business in Southern Indiana. I actually drove by his shop when he was located in Bloomington, Indiana, as I was coming back from a business trip. I think 4 years ago now. It's been a while. I want to say 2019 or 2018. So been a while, but we've still kind of stayed in connection through Instagram. And I was really happy that he wanted to send this up to me to check out. And I'm glad he did, because it really is a great knife, a unique knife, at a fair price, considering that, it's his design. And, when you have something manufactured by another company, you gotta make a price that's going to make you a little money. But I think the most important thing with all this is it does feel like a $300 knife. It really does to me, with all the features and the materials, especially Vanex. There's a reason you don't see Vanex on a lot of knives right now. It's because it's expensive. It's an expensive steel. The Vanex alone bumped it up, I think, $30. So, you get what you pay for. But again, you get some uniqueness, you get excellent action, and you get, at the end of the day, a really good knife. And that's it, guys. That is the Indiana Knives EDZ. Let me know what you think of that. Be sure and click those links below to check out more about this knife and Indiana Knives. That's a lot of ins in there. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.